Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As lead partner of Amenet, it's a pleasure to sincerely thank the University of Ghana, the Vice Chancellor, and the academic staff, mainly Professor Daniel Kwabena Tuerfo for the support in the organization of this Amenet conference. Thanks also to the Vice Rector of the University Autónoma of Madrid, Professor Carmela Calés and her office service, to my colleague Professor Luis Collado and the Secretary Mrs. Estela Alarcón. This international conference is part of a set of events organized by the MONNET network. Amenet is the abbreviation of the European Union, Mediterranean and African integration in the global age. Amenet is made up of 14 universities, 8 from Africa and 6 from Europe. This conference is a Jean Monnet activity supported by the European Commission. It brings academic partners and institutions together from the sub-Saharan countries, Mediterranean African countries, and Europe. It aims at improving EU-Africa cooperation and contributing to building sustainable societies in Africa in coordination with the European Union. This conference is the third one. The fourth will take place in Dakar in the second half of this year, trying to hold it in a presential way. The rationale of this conference is based on 3 pillars: the COVID-19, the economic integration, and the sustainable development. Pillars which nowadays represent serious challenges. Firstly, the impacts of the COVID-19 in Africa are very heavy. The COVID-19 has severely limited the labor and capital mobility, the international trade, the tourism activity, and the remittances from the African immigrants in Europe. The result is a dramatic fall of the economic activity in Africa and a huge reduction of income, particularly of the most deprived. In fact, it's the first big recession of Africa of the 21st century. Actually, is a twin recession, not only economic, but also sanitary. Secondly, it's obvious that all these challenges need international cooperation and understanding among countries from the south and from the north, from Africa and from Europe. There is no option. The future of Europe depends on the future of Africa, up to a point that we can say that without the development of Africa, the future of Europe is at risk by aging, by lack of young people, massive migration. This is the true core of the Amenet network, spirit, we say. We need more than ever economic, social, and political integration between Europe and Africa to fight against all sorts of populism, nationalism, jihadism, violence, and intolerance. We are convinced that without security, there is no possible development in Africa and in Europe as well. Europe and Africa need a new paradigm of understanding based on co-development, which means interdependence, not dependence, collaborative governance, to harness the consequences of COVID-19, which emphasize proximity and neighborhood of Europe and Africa as an advantage to trade and invest in mutual interests. Africa urgently needs a roadmap of sustainable development. It needs to take action in 3 priority areas. 1, advance a digital transformation, investing in digital skills and ICTs. to foster a green growth to shift towards a resilient, resource-efficient, and carbon-neutral economy. Fighting against the climate change is necessary and urgent. 3, ensure economic recovery from this COVID-19 crisis, putting people first, creating decent opportunities of jobs and without leaving no one behind, enhancing education and of young people. This is crucial to tap this demographic dividend of Africa. In summary, these are the Amenet targets which guide our academic activities. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Meya. Good morning, everyone. The Amenet Third International Conference on Regional Integration is about to start. Please receive our warmest welcome. The event will be recorded, and in order to be able to participate, we ask you to accept the confirmation message that appears in your screen. First of all, please bear in mind this technical consideration to all participants. Turn off your microphone and camera all the time if you are not presenting. We suggest you to enable the side-by-side mode view, which you will find at the bar at the top of your screen, highlight in green. In the options button, you may select by side-by-side mode. We also recommend you to use the gallery view mode so you can see the speaker at any time during the presentations. You just have, Professor Meya, good morning. Could you close your microphone, please? You just have to select this option at the top of your screen. If the gallery view is selected by default, you don't need to do nothing. If you have any question, please feel free to use the chat, which you will find at the bottom of the screen. If you need to contact the organization team, feel free to use the chat too. With no further delay, I would like to welcome Professor Ebenezer Oduro Owusu, the Vice Chancellor of University of Ghana, to say some welcoming words to the audience. Professor, thank you very much for attending today, and the floor is yours. Professor Ebenezer Oduro?
I think he has not joined yet. I'll just find out and then let you know. But then maybe someone would, start and then he would come in at a point in time.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Alicia Rico. Mrs. Alicia Rico del Purgar, Ambassador of Spain. It's a great pleasure to have your participation in this conference. Please take the floor to say some welcoming words.
Thank you very much. I think it's a great honor for me to participate in this opening ceremony of the Amenet Third International Conference on Regional Integration. I would like to greet the Vice Chancellor of the University, la Universidad Autónoma de Madrid, Professor José Meya, and also Esther Alarcón for the hard work. And my greetings also to the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana and all the academic staff, as well as all the academic staff and professors and researchers that are participating in this Jean Monnet network of the European Union. As Professor Meya has said, 14 universities from 11 countries. My appreciation for your hard work, and I would like to commend this initiative. I think it's very necessary because the first thing that we need to speak about regional integration is to have a greater understanding or more reciprocal knowledge and understanding of what Africa is and what Europe is, and obviously the Mediterranean linking the two. And this conference comes at a very timely moment because more than ever, the COVID pandemic has shown that we need a joint effort. We need to strengthen cooperation in order to face global challenges. The COVID pandemic has put in the limelight that the global public health is obviously a challenge. We do not know how this is going to evolve. We hope that with the vaccination programs, the situation both in Europe and in Africa will improve. But as Professor Mejia said in his intervention, this has had an obvious and deep impact on both our continents. I think that the only way that we can go forward is reinforcing cooperation and regional integration, and integration between Africa and Europe as well. We are at a moment where I think there is a shift, an important shift in the way that Europe regards Africa, and also the way that Africa is also regarding itself as a continent. I think there's a new moment, a new reality, which is maybe the symbol could be the African Free Continental Trade Agreement, which, as you know, the free trade for the 36 countries that have ratified the agreement started on the 1st of January. There is a new hope that this agreement, obviously the implementation will take a long time. There's a lot of obstacles and challenges, but that it will open and pave the way for new structural reforms in the continent. And the hope is that it will be more than just a free trade, but a new, a deep social and economic development. When I refer to this shift in the way that we contemplate the relations with Africa, it's not only a shift that we can perceive in the European Union with the new idea of establishing a partnership based on shared interests and also common challenges. We also see it on a bilateral level, for example, in Spain with the new third plan, Tercer Plan Africa, which I think Ambassador Alberto Virella will maybe speak about more or elaborate on it in the next roundtable. But the idea is to change our approach from a donor-recipient relationship to a relationship more focused on trying to help Africa transform, modernize economically. And this is the only way to do this is by trying to boost investments and creating jobs. We mustn't forget that there's an important component here, which is the demographic dividend. This is the greatest challenge and at the same time the greatest richness that the African continent has. But as has been stated before, and I'm sure all this wonderful and interesting documents that will be prepared within the context of the Amenet initiative has highlighted that by 2050, Africa will have 2.5 billion people. By the end of the century, it will surpass Asia, and 70% will be people below 25 years of age. That is, young people that have access to new technologies. So the continent needs to create jobs. It needs to provide food. It needs to house. It needs to provide services. You need to nurture this capital. You need to provide healthcare, education, and all this in a context of the fourth industrial revolution. So the continent has to leapfrog from trying to pursue elements that belong to the first and the second industrial revolution, like finishing infrastructures, transport infrastructures, roads, railways. But at the same time, as Professor Mejia highlighted, we have all the digital agenda and what all the new technologies, cross-cutting technologies can do to also accelerate modernization and economic transformation. So what we need to do, I think, to foster integration from Europe, in economic integration between Europe and Africa, must start first by helping Africa transform and carry out all the structural reforms that it needs. We have to bring investments in. Obviously, this is not easy because there's still a high risk for companies to invest in Africa. And these are from macroeconomic elements, currency volatility, high debt, protection of investments, etc. But it's the only way that we can really support integration and transformation in Africa. And at the same time, we need to create a stronger economic integration between our two continents. Now, we have to switch from, I think, maybe a vision of only export-import relationship, which obviously is very important. And with, for example, with a country like Ghana, we have an economic partnership agreement between the European Union and Ghana. So this is obviously going to boost trade enormously. And in the European Union, as Ambassador Diana Concha will further explain, is we are a very important partner for a country like Ghana, and we're the main investor as well. But we need to change this to a more, to a greater approach of transfer of technology and of promoting sustainable investments. Now, these are the conditions that we need to have in mind in order to achieve a greater economic integration between the two continents. Obviously, we still have to keep on working on boosting, on supporting good governance, accountability, economic governance, democracy.
Hi, everyone. I think there are some technical problems with Alicia. Probably let's go, please, to invite Mrs. Diana Aconchia. We are delighted to be joined by the ambassador of the European Union. Please, Mrs. Diana, take the floor.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, good morning. Unfortunately, I am experiencing connection problems, so I might
Hello. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, now yes, please.
Okay.
Now yes.
Okay. I'm trying to put the camera on, but if it doesn't work, then I will switch it off. So, dear Professor Meya, dear Ambassador of Spain, and my friend Alicia, and dear academics connected, good morning, everybody. And first of all, congratulations to the organizers of this seminar for the impressive lineup of speakers and panelists. Congratulations for the variety, wide coverage of this event, and also of the wide range of competencies of the scientific committee of the cooperation between Europe, the Mediterranean, and Africa in that scientific area. And as Professor Mella just highlighted, this event is supported by the European Commission, by Erasmus+, which is a flagship European Union program to support scientific cooperation and cultural exchanges between the two continents. And allow me to start my brief intervention really highlighting how this program is important for us. Last year, the European Commission proposed priorities for a new strategy with Africa. They should have been discussed at the African Union, European Union summit last year. The summit was postponed for the obvious reasons, and we still hope that it can be held later this year. But the priorities were already published, and they reflect the European Union's own policy priorities for the coming year. So you will see the Green Deal, so climate, the environment, and everything that will contribute to protect our planet in the coming years. You see digitalization, scientific cooperation. You see trade and job creation prominently on this agenda. So this already gives us the idea of how relevant this event for the future relations between the two continents. But to say a few more words on academic cooperation, I find that this mutually enriching exchange of knowledge is an avenue that we have just started to explore in our new partnership with Africa, the partnership that Ambassador Alicia referred to in her intervention before, the partnership among equals that we would like to have with Africa. And academic cooperation is key because Africa has huge potential on research. We have seen it now with the pandemic, with the COVID-19, how many scientists in Africa are contributing to the fight against this virus from their own point of view. Scientists in South Africa, for example, have given a great contribution. Yesterday, I was reading the interview on the Financial Times on prominent scientist in Nigeria that has given a crucial contribution to the fight against Ebola and now is on COVID-19. So Africans have huge potential. We need to work together to develop Africa's own capacity for research. And I think that that's going to be a key to move our partnership to that next step that Alicia was mentioning before. But let me touch for a moment on the other issues covered by this event. The conference's topic focuses on regional integration and sustainable development. Both of these are key areas where the European Union has a long history and expertise to be shared with our African counterparts. Sustainable development is at the core of the EU priorities for next year, and it fits well with the need that all countries have to foster an economic recovery from the pandemic, which, building back better. Building back better means building in a sustainable way. And that's what we want to do. And again, the green economy transformation and the digital revolution are the two key pillars of the EU strategy for the next decade that will ensure that the future recovery will be sustainable. And we mean that within Europe, and we mean that in our relationship with our countries. And I also find it very interesting that the conference opens with a roundtable on trade. This comes at the right time, as last week, the European Commission unveiled its communication on the trade policy review. It is basically our trade policy agenda for the coming years. And this agenda connects very well with this sustainability leitmotif that will go all through the program of these coming days. Addressing one of the biggest challenges of our time and responding to the expectations of our citizens, the European Commission is putting sustainability at the heart of its new trade strategy, supporting the fundamental transformation of its economy to a climate-neutral one. The European Union is committed to leveraging its global power and strong trade relationships to support more sustainable and fair trade, and to increase the ambition for its trading partners to address global challenges like climate change. So reconnecting to what Ambassador Alicia was saying before, Africa, with the launch of the Africa Continental FTA, is embarking in its most ambitious integration program ever. So it is the right moment to have an open discussion on the historical opportunities created by the continental FTA for industrialization and creation of decent jobs for the millions of Africans that are coming every year to the market. But it's also the right moment to take forward the conversation on the sustainability of our industrialization model, on the model of development that Africa wants to have for itself for the coming years. The European Union is the first trade and investment partner of Africa. So we are the natural partners to have this kind of discussion with our African friends. What do we want for our future? Which industrialization model? Which development model? I would like, and I like to see this seminar, this conference, as a way to start a lot of different conversations on different aspects of this crucial question that we are asking ourselves. And I hope that even on Zoom, even if we will not be able to chat in the corridors like you would normally do at a conference like this, I hope that links will start, conversations will begin that will continue in the future and that will take to common actions to find this sustainable development model, this common sustainable development model together. So thank you very much for having organized this. I cannot see a better moment to have this discussion, to address the challenges of sustainable development and of regional integration. And I wish you very fruitful days of discussion. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Diana. Now we would like to invite Mrs. Alicia Rico, that was experiencing some technical problem. If you would like to finalize your intervention, your opening words, please. Please open your microphone.
Yes, thank you very much. I think I had practically finished, but the last points that I wanted to make was just, I think they were also highlighted by my colleague, Ambassador Akoncha, but it's together with all the opportunities that the African continent represents, it's evident that there's a lot of challenges, and the road to sustainable development of protecting an environment in a context of industrialization is it's a hard trip. So I think that more than anything, I would just like to conclude by saying that first of all, we need to strengthen this, promote this mutual understanding between Europe and Africa, and that's why I think this is a great initiative. I would like to thank all the academic staff of the universities involved for the great contribution for us, for example, in diplomats and embassies. All these documents that are all the research work are of enormous value, and we really appreciate it. And we will, from, I think, both the public sector, the governments, and the civil society, and I think in this, the academic world plays a huge role. I am sure that there will be more understanding. We will get closer. There will be a rapprochement between the two continents. And Europe will have to be promoting good governance, democracy in the continent, regional integration, transformation, green economy, and digital agenda. But most of all, I think continental integration. And in this respect, regional integration within, for example, West Africa, in the context of the ECOWAS, and in this, Ghana plays a leading role. And the further step will be integration in the continent with the African Free Trade Agreement. But not only economic integration, I think we need to ensure transformation, deep structural transformation, and creation of jobs and prosperity for the African people, which I think is the future for Africa and the future for Europe. I mean, our destinies have to go together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. We are also honored with the presence of Mrs. Carmela Gales Burdet, Vice Rector for Internationalization of the Autonomous University of Madrid, who is going to deliver her welcoming remarks too. Please go, take the floor, Carmela.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, and good morning to everyone present in this fantastic opening session. I am extremely grateful and to the organizers, not only for inviting me to this opening ceremony, which as a Vice Rector for Internationalization of Universidad Autónoma of Madrid, I should be here, of course, supporting this third conference of the Amenet project. But also because I am really grateful to them to be able to gather all these academics and all different partners of the net, and also some other invited partners. So they get to really make a powerful conference and very timely, as the people that has spoken before me have stressed. So, and also I'm very honored, of course, to share with two ambassadors, to the ambassador from my country in Ghana, Mrs. Rico, and the ambassador of the European Union, to which I belong, and I enthusiastically belong, Mrs. Diana Aconcho. Also, I am very honored to share this, of course, with Professor Meya, but also with Professor Daniel Kwabena, that is the coordinator for the Amenet in the University of Ghana. I would very much like to have been able to go to Accra and to share with you this time to speak to everyone belonging to this network, belonging to this academic world, also to speak to all the stakeholders that support this kind of venture, this exchange of ideas and of knowledge. This really how to say, this is meeting of two words, of two academic words, that are the universities in Africa and the universities in Europe. Universidad Autónoma of Madrid is so proud and so happy to, for me it has been an honor to be Vice Rector at the time of the starting of Amenet. We were discussing before we started how important this kind of exchange are for the academic point of view, from the academic point of view, but also from the economic, and as the ambassadors have stressed, for these two words to come together and work together reciprocally, exchanging ideas and exchanging solutions for very urgent problems. And I want to stress that Professor Meya very professional way of approaching this, send this project to the Jean Monnet actions. And at the time, I was so impressed by the evaluation of the project. It was of really top. I mean, it was over 95% evaluated with excellent marks. And it hasn't, it has been up to the expectations. This is the third conference. I have been in the previous ones, also in the opening ceremony, and one I was fortunate enough to share with the other assistants. And it has been also inspiring for our university. Because we have gathered all the people that are interested in Africa, not only that are participating in this project, but in other areas that have relationships or have interest to interact with African universities and research institutions. We have brought also, or we have merged as well, this Amenet interest within our most recent strategic project, which has been the launch of an alliance of a European university. That has been the latest initiative of the Erasmus program that has ended this year, the launch of these European universities, and our European University Alliance, which is called CIVIS, has a particular interest in working with African partners, with universities, together with them to find solutions and propositions for approaching challenges such as climate change, technological and digital transformations, society, cultural and heritage development, also health issues, and finally cities, mobilities and transports, which I think that for both Europe and Africa remain high top challenges for this 21st century. So we are really encouraging and supporting this kind of action. Amenet project has an end at some point, but we are really willing to support that this project continues in the time, and also can enrich. Be enriched by the addition of some of our partners in CIVIS. And we will invite you all to the most immediate actions that we are taking with another Spanish university alliance, the Alliance for Universities, two universities in Barcelona, two universities in Madrid, that are also focusing onto the relationships with African universities. So this academic work for us is essential, not only to help, of course, and build capacities and new developments in African universities. But as far as I have seen, most African universities are now in the search of really improving and making themselves a very important motor for the transformation and the inspiration for the transformation that the African countries and the African continent needs. And with this education and research cooperation, we believe that all this transformation, as Ambassador Rick said about job creation. This needs training, and this needs really cooperation also from the point of view of research and of exchange of students and of faculty and also of staff to build up all the networks that need to be encouraged for this education and this research to support all the changes that need for the welfare of your countries. So I am very, very glad to be here. I am sorry because I can't hear myself properly, actually, and I don't know whether you have heard me properly, but I hope so, because I can't see myself, nor I can hear myself properly in the computer. So thank you very much for this. Enjoy very much these 2 days. I am very sorry. I have some courses. I can't possibly be in most of the sessions that are so interesting and so important for building all these cooperations that we need, and all these interactions in the academic world with the stakeholders that we need. But I'm sure that tomorrow, when I come back to say goodbye to all you, I am sure that you will have built up stronger links and stronger ideas and stronger inspirations for the future. Thank you very much indeed. Now it has improved.
Thank you very much, Carmela. We hear you very well.
Okay, thank you. I had some problems myself. I could hear.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay.
We are pleased to have the participation and crucial support in this event of Professor Daniel Kwabena Tuerfu, coordinator of Amenet in Ghana, who is going to say his words of welcome. Please, Professor Daniel, take the floor.
Right. Thank you, Ian. I must, take this opportunity to tell the conference that the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Ebenezer Odro-Usu, has got an emergency. So he has asked me to step in for him. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to combine a little bit of what he wanted to say, and of course, what I also wanted to share with the participants. And maybe at a point in time, he may join us when the time becomes available. Now, Her Excellency, the Ambassador of Spain, Ms. Alicia Rico, Her Excellency, the Head of European Union Delegation in Ghana, Ms. Diana Concia, Vice Rector for Internationalization of UAM, Ms. Carmela Calles, and my own friend, Professor Jose Mella, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. You know, we from the environmental fraternity do believe that the year 2016 could be considered as the year for the environment. And there are two major reasons why we can consider this year as a year for the environment. You all recall that on 1st January 2016, the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the 2020 Agenda for Sustainable Development, adopted by the world leaders in September 2015 at a historic UN summit, officially came into force and currently ratified by about 193 countries. That is a lot. On November 4th, 2016, the Paris Agreement, which improves upon and replaces, of course, the Kyoto Protocol, an earlier sort of international treaty designed to curb the release of greenhouse gases, also entered into force and has been signed by 195 countries as I'm speaking, and ratified by 190 in January 2021. Now, these were signed, and 3 years down the lane, that is in 2019, when the world was putting effort to better take care of the earth, what happened is that the COVID-19 pandemic set in. somewhere in December 2019. You will all agree with me that the impact of COVID-19 on the world is diverse and complex. The UNDP argued that the impact of the pandemic will vary from country to country, but most likely increase poverty and inequality at a global scale, making the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goal even more difficult. Now, regional integration among Africa, the Mediterranean, and Europe is also bound to suffer somehow, looking at the international restrictions in labor, capital, and goods brought about by COVID. What we need to now know is that post-COVID management of regional integration and the overall implementation of the Sustainable Development Agenda will require intense collaboration between countries to enhance the gains from trade and regional integration. Specifically, the inward-looking sort of strategy that COVID has brought about will surely not be the best way to go. Rather, effectively addressing common challenges that militate against integration and have been exacerbated by COVID offers the solution. It is in this regard that this conference aims at harnessing ideas on how to revive AME economies in an environmentally sustainable manner by getting experts to discuss and evaluate the impact of the pandemic on economic growth and development, as well as optioning for ensuring growth, development, and regional integration post-COVID. I must say that the Department of Economics of the University of Ghana is proud to be associated with this noble cause and would like to extend its gratitude to Amenet Secretariat, specifically Professor Jose Mela, for the opportunity. We would also like to express our appreciation to the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Edro Usu, for not only providing oversight in the management of Amenet's activities in Ghana, but also wanted to find time and participate in this all-important sort of meeting. Now, special thanks, I think, goes to Her Excellency, the Ambassador of Spain, Ms. Alicia Rico, Her Excellency, the Head of European Union Delegation in Ghana, Ms. Diana Concia, the Vice Rector for Internationalization of UAM, Ms. Camila Calles, all the keynote speakers and panelists who have agreed to share their wealth of knowledge with us, the participants that have got the time to be with us, as well as the organizing committee of this conference. I hope that at the end of the conference, we are going to come out with resolutions and conclusions that will make impact on COVID-19 going forward. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and may God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Professor Daniel. And now we would like to invite Professor Jose Mella again, please. If you would like to add something in this morning and opening session, please take the floor. Professor Jose Mella, would you like to add something in this opening session that is about to finalize? Could you open your microphone, please?
So yes, I'm gonna add a few words to thank all our Mrs. Alicia Rico, the ambassador of Spain in Ghana, and Mrs. Diana Concia, the ambassador of the EU in Western Africa. So thank you very much for your presence, and also I would appreciate the presence of our Vice Rector, and to thank all our colleagues who support, who contribute to organize this conference. And I wanna send a message of appreciation to the our colleague Daniel Guavina, through the Vice Chancellor and the Chancellor of the University of Ghana, because his support was very, very, very important to achieve this, a good organization of this conference. And thank you very much, and we keep in touch in order to organize coming events such as the workshop organized with the University of Ghana in April. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, Professor. Well, according to the program, next slot is dedicated to a roundtable entitled Ghana, Spain, and EU Strengthening Cooperation, Trade, and Investments. A tremendous uncertainty caused by this health emergency we are living due to COVID-19 is a matter of mutual concern for all countries and industry. This is the moment to collectively learn from each other and accelerate the transformation of international cooperation into an effective instrument to build healthier economies. This plenary session has 6 main panelists. They will share with us their experience and opinion on current opportunities in this avenue of promoting investment, trade, and internationalization of enterprises between Spain and Africa. Thank you very much to all panelists for attending today. Each panelist has 15 minutes intervention. We can start with Mr. Humphrey Ajin Darke, Vice President of the Association of Ghana Industries. Please, Mr. Humphrey, take the floor, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Moderator. The Association of Ghana Industries is encouraged and grateful for this opportunity to share an opinion on this platform of a conference discussing industrial policy and the integration agenda with our EU partners. Over the period, it's obvious that the clear agenda of Ghana, embedded in the industrial policy of the Ministry of Trade, is the primary blueprint document that the private sector taps in terms of our growth path and our industrialization agenda. A clear model currently of the ministry comes with a 10-point agenda of industrialization, cutting from the famous One District, One Factory initiative from government, National Industrial Revitalization Program in terms of stimulus package, a few strategic anchor industrial initiatives, SME development, industrial subcontracting, and export development oriented projects. All these dovetail into the current after project and after initiative that the continent is championing. Imperatively, it is necessary that our policy has a basis in terms of local development and also informal development. That's the informal sector being roped into the formal sector, or models that will shape their programs to integrate into the bigger picture of the export-oriented industrial model the country is currently pursuing. As we lay the bigger framework of the government's clear initiatives, the private sector player like the Association of Ghana Industries, that forms the umbrella body of industries in the country, develops policy that has a correlation or complements the government's efforts in its bigger, broad framework agenda. It is upon this note that the association brings its members on board in terms of orientation and in terms of aligning their private sector engagement to fit into the government one, and then that ties into the export-oriented model that the government is pursuing. However, our greatest challenge has to do with a few strategic cross-cutting interventions that will lead to efficiency, high productivity, and the capacity to export. And as a private sector player, AGI advocates a lot for the cross-cutting intervention in power, the production of power, the export of power to the neighboring countries, to bring about the efficiency in terms of the cost of power to our industries and the production units. It also goes on to other related matters like the debt sustainability of the entire country, how the debt sustainability has an impact on our micro economic models and its impact on the cost of funding to the private sector players that are taking these initiatives. Going forward, there are a plethora of opportunities nonetheless, and we believe a clear private-public partnership policy that's currently being developed, if intensified, will give the private sector the leverage of getting cheap and cost-competitive funding from our European partners to leverage on the PPP policy. This also underpins a lot of PPD, that is the public-private dialogue, that creates a platform to also dialogue with government and dialogue with all partners that are involved in the clear agenda of an industrial policy that will lead to skills development, that will lead to job creation, which are the critical issues that are threatening the democratic credentials that the country has attained as of today. Because within the democratic threats, you will see a lot of partisan posture by the players in the space. And the underpinning threat comes to issues regarding job creation, that most of the youth that are really driving this partisan posture are lacking. So on the broader framework, there are a number of opportunities that we believe if we could harness some major cross-cutting interventions for infrastructure development, i.e. the railways and the transport system, the power generation and distribution system, the standardization and quality of production, and then the agricultural transformation agenda, there will be a clear paradigm shift that will empower the citizen and also empower the private sector to take up a lot of initiative to export into the after integration and as well as into the European market. This amidst many more, I believe, are clear opportunities that can both trade and also enhance the agenda of the conference that we are engaging in. I'll leave it here and continue further. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Humphrey. Now we have another intervention of Mr. Alberto Virella, Ambassador at Large for the Spanish Africa Plan, as part of the Spanish Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Please, Alberto, take the floor with your presentation.
Thank you very much. Do you hear me now?
Yes, very well.
Great. Well, I am the ambassador at large for the Spanish planification instrument of external action with Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, which is called Plan Africa, from planning, and it is in fact the third Plan Africa made by the Spanish government. It has been approved in 2019, and we are actually currently finishing the program of action with concrete measures. So there is a strategy, there is a planning, and there are particular actions. the main point I would like to convey is that to assure you, those who are in Ghana listening to us, that Ghana is one of the 10 priority countries in sub-Saharan Africa in this third Plan Africa. And regarding the priorities, I will stress two of them. The first one is for the Spanish external action to support African sustainable and inclusive economies prepared to climate change and in transition to low carbon and resilient economies. And the other priority I would like to stress is the strengthening of the Spanish private sector and the Spanish financial presence in Africa. So the point is that for us, for the planification and the real action of the Spanish external policy with sub-Saharan Africa, economic ties, private investment, job creation, and having in mind, of course, low carbon economy and resilient, and with the strengthening of capacity to resist and react to climate change is really crucial. It's crucial, and it's very, very much in our minds and in our actions. The point is that we have to work more in the attraction of private sector investment in sub-Saharan Africa. And the environment is the environment of a competition. And I would mention two dimensions of this competition. One is among foreign players, foreign in relation to African countries, to take advantage of opportunities in African markets. This is obvious in Europe, and those who are in Africa, they are very much aware. There is a narrative of the Chinese pushing presence in Africa, and in my point of view, it's nothing but competition, which is not bad at all in a free economic market. But indeed, it has to push the other actors, European actors, to take advantage of their own comparative advantages to be competitive regarding the Chinese or emerging countries that are also very interested in Africa. So this is one dimension of competition. But there is another competition among African countries to be the ones chosen to get those investments. Because everybody should be aware, investment opportunities, they are everywhere in any continent, I would say. And within Africa, the final decision of a private investment has a lot to do with the business climate, and also, of course, infrastructures, the production costs such as energy, the human resources quality. So I would say that everybody, external actors and local African actors, have to work more in improving the business climate. I would add, regarding business climate as well, the situation regarding the transborder trade. We are very much supportive of the African continental free trade area, but we are also aware that a lot of improvement regarding trade and non-trade barriers has to be done. I've been ambassador to Senegal for 5 years, and there is ECOWAS as a regional economic community, and one of its aim for years has been to improve intra-ECOWAS countries, and there are very much problems yet to be solved. In this competition atmosphere, maybe I would stress some Spanish competitive advantages. One is that Spain is in Africa. The Canary Islands are in Africa. So proximity is a comparative advantage. Regarding low carbon and resilient economies, and also the reduction of energy costs for investment, private investment, the role of Spanish companies regarding renewable energies is very important. They are among the highest in the international ranking of companies in the green energies sector. But also agro-industry, agro-business is a comparative advantage of the Spanish companies. Water and sanitation, I would add as a very relevant sector. In all of these, there are already very important Spanish projects, many of them with international financial organizations funds. And the new scenario with this COVID pandemic would lead us to nowadays more relevant sector, which is chemistry and drugs industry. And there are also very relevant Spanish companies working in this sector. Not to mention engineering and consulting regarding public works. There are great Spanish companies in this sector, and everybody in Europe or in Africa, we have to face digital transformation. This is part of the new world where we are already. In Ghana, in particular, and it has already been mentioned, my predecessor has it clearly named it. The governments of Ghana plan one district, one factory is very much important and relevant. And Spanish industries could very much participate in that. In my opinion, manufacturing, industrialization are crucial for very much reasons and dimensions. Job creation, but also taking full advantages of the possibilities of the African free trade continental area. African economies have been looking for exports out of Africa for decades. And internal African market has not had so far a preeminent position. With the improvement of infrastructures and the creation of more industries to produce manufacturing goods, the obvious new market to come is the sub-region now or African market. I would say, to be frank with you, that I don't know the reason why in the conversations between the African Union and the European Union, industrialization is not in the agenda. I say in the discussions, in the talks about future strategic partnership between the two big regions. Having in mind that in the Africa 2063 agenda, industrialization is very relevant as a crucial way to the economic transformation. And I would say to help and support the participation of African economies in the global value chains become more relevant with more value added. So it could be really a very strategic aspect of not only the African development, but also, in my opinion, if we engage in a frank conversation, Africans and Europeans, for the future of both regions. I thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Alberto. Well, let me remind you that the chat is open to launch questions to panelists. To be efficient with time, your message will be received by the moderator of the session, and she will transfer your questions to the speaker. Please specify the panelists to whom you would like to address your question. Okay, thank you very much, Alberto. Now I would like to invite the General Director of Trade and Investment of the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Tourism of Spain, Mrs. Maria Paz Ramos Reza. Please, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure for me to be participating in this round table and also to be able to talk about such an interesting country as Ghana where I've been many times, that I know quite well, since I lived in Africa, working at the African Development Bank back in the late 90s until now. I think the evolution of this country has been very interesting, and it's still very much an example of good governance and progress within sub-Saharan Africa. As I said, Ghana has always been perceived by European countries, and particularly by Spain, as a success story in sub-Saharan Africa, since the soft and smooth political transition processes back in the 90s up to now. As to try to give a general framework of where Spain, and particularly the Ministry of Industry, Tourism and Trade is present in Ghana. Let's say that the growth rate in the last 15 years has been very high for world standards and also for African standards. Very particularly between 2007 and 2013, GDP growth rate was of an average of 8.3% per year, which allowed this country to build up infrastructure, to progress, to reduce poverty of its population, and to create a middle class that is very active in trade and in business, and an example for Western Africa. We all know that after in 2014, Ghana went through a very quite delicate economic situation, with both public deficit and external deficit quite high, and a peak in inflation rate. But this led the country to sign a program in April 2015 with the IMF, which has been extended until 2019. As a result of the negotiations and of the rationalization of the economic policy of Ghana, the GDP started growing again at very, very important rates. And it was almost 8% economic growth in 2019 before the pandemic, of course, like in the rest of the world, stopped this a very, very positive trend. For Spain, in 2019, because I prefer not to talk about 2020, because it has been a very particular year, which doesn't show a very sound trend. For Spain, it's the third most important market in sub-Saharan Africa, after South Africa and Nigeria, which is very important. As you all know, Spain has traditionally not been very present in sub-Saharan Africa, because I think Spanish companies were very much present in Latin America, and they couldn't afford being also in Africa and Asia at the same time. But our exports to Ghana still are up to 300 million euros per year, importing 150 million euros. But the trend has been positive in the last decade, and our exports have been growing. And the interest of Ghana among Spanish companies has also been growing a lot. Mr. Videya drafted the sectors where we are present. I want to stress that our ministry has drafted a strategic policy for Africa in terms of financial means, in terms of promotion actions for trade and investment, and in terms of coordination with the European funding, in order to be more present in Africa, and also for institutional presence. This strategy from our ministry is called Horizon Africa, and while Ghana is not one of the 5 leading countries in our strategy, it's a very important country where we want not only to increase our trade exchanges in both directions, but also to increase the appetite from Spanish companies to be present and invest in Ghana. I think the institutional environment has improved a lot, and it's quite positive for foreign investment. European Investment Program is wishing to be co-investing with European companies in sub-Saharan Africa, and we are doing a campaign among our companies in different sectors, but mainly in infrastructure sectors, to try to push them to explore the opportunities that the sub-Saharan Africa is giving to Spanish private and public operators, and to try to convince them that both the institutional environment, the legal progress, the business environment, and the opportunities of Ghana among other countries are important, and should be fairly explored by all our private operators. We are not present in terms of investment, while we have important companies present in engineering, in chemistry, in infrastructure, in education, also in water treatment, and we are most open to analyze opportunities of financing from the Spanish Ministry of Industry, Tourism and Trade, entrepreneurial initiatives or joint initiatives for Ghana. We are opening again possibility of funding in terms of grants, engineering processes for big sectoral studies, for particular project feasibility studies, and we are most open to receive proposals from the Ghanaian authorities, regional, local, national authorities, to be more present and to help both to be present in the economic and social development of Ghana, and to be also present in the development of infrastructure projects in your country, while agro-industry, chemistry, water, transport, construction materials, and all kind of sectors. I don't want to be long and let people ask, but I want to stress that we are in very close coordination with other ministries, and particularly with the European Union and with international financial institutions, to be co-financing initiatives in Ghana. I don't have much to add. I wish you good health and to be progressing in terms of international trade, institutional environment, and social and economic development of your country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Maria. Pass to you. We are pleased to invite Mr. Luis Calaf del Seni. He is General Director of the Asociación Española de Financieros de Empresa, ACET. He is joining us this morning. Please, Mr. Luis, could you take the floor, please?
Yes, just I'm open the video. Thank you very much to invite me, and it's a pleasure to be here and to give some traits, some words about our vision and capacities, opportunities that could be between Spain, Europe, and Sahrawi African part. That Ghana, I think it's a key point. I think for different reasons. And in terms of companies, in terms of to create trade and investment relationships, the first thing that it's very important for companies, it's the legal to be a legal security situation. And also a stable and open country where to create these opportunities. And that Ghana, it's a good example of how a country can develop this environment. So that give to the companies a situation that could look Ghana as an opportunity to create trade and investments opportunities. I think it's very important that in terms of companies that to create a win-to-win relationships, because that will create a profit way and in terms of stability. in terms of continuity and create one opportunity, adding another opportunity to create a social evolution and to growth countries. So that is very important. As ASSET is the Association for Finance Directors, so we know very well where are the companies and what objectives they have. That it's today we have a special situation that it's I think we need to cover and to go ahead, taking the strengths that we have today as consequence of the pandemic. As consequence of the pandemic that we have, all companies has increased the cost control. That means they are in terms of production expenses as especially that they don't need. And also they are looking for opportunities with a special search and selection. So they search with lower risk positions, their selections of opportunities. That is a thing that is important now. But also because for companies to maintain liquidity, it's important because it's the life of the companies. So until the exit of this situation doesn't happen, we need to know that, no, that the cost control and the selection in low risk opportunities, it's present in companies, but not cutting, not stopping opportunities. That is also important because in opportunity you should take always. As the keys for the exit of the actual situation, of course, it's the patching success and to cover the public funds needed, especially in the big GDP worldwide countries, that is USA, Europe, and China. With that you cover 70% of the GDP in the world, we can go ahead in the actual situation. With this stimulation on local countries, we can increase consumption and tourism. That it's a key point in Spain. That will give stability in the next future. So with this exit of the actual situation, we can open the eyes, the views, and to go ahead with opportunities. I think Ghana has a specific and real important situation for open opportunities. I think Mr. Alberto Virela and also Maria Paz Ramos explained it in detail what opportunities we could have from Spain to Ghana. And also, I think it could happen some opportunities in the other direction that should be also interesting for Ghana. I think it's very important to create this win-win situation, not only for Spanish companies, also for Ghana opportunities. And that's our first view of what can we explore in the future with Ghana, and we are here to give helping in all views that you need, and open to the questions that people in this conference can give us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Director. Now, we are honored to be joined by Mr. Geoffrey Grant this morning. He is CEO of the Ghana Investment Promotion Council. Please, Geoffrey, could you take the floor to make your intervention, please? Could you activate your microphone, please? Open your microphone, please. Can you hear us? Okay,
Yes.
now it's great.
Sorry, the host had to unmic me. Buongiorno, good morning to everybody, and it's a pleasure to be here. I have been listening very arduously in the course of the morning, and I believe that we are at a very critical time in life where we have to share opportunities. The pandemic has actually reinforced the view that despite the feeling that globalization is dead and everybody is now looking inwards, there is much more reason for us to work together. And with the economic disruptions that happened from 2020 right into 2021, the view that we should work together has become much more poignant than ever before. Indeed, Ghana has positioned herself to spearhead the African economic renaissance. And over the past and prior to 2020, our economy, as said by the Honorable Minister, had been growing at an average of 7% after having suffered a decline all the way to 2016. That shows a certain commitment and seriousness to ensuring that this is a country that is doing the right things and on the right path. Additionally, Ghana was selected as the headquarters of the African Continental Free Trade Area, which gives us a sort of default responsibility of spearheading the African economic renaissance as well as the industrialization of the continent. On our own, we have done the right things to create the right macroeconomic environment for investment. We are constantly engaged in reforms to ensure that we still maintain a much more competitive investment destination than we had before, and that made us get the accolade of being the most attractive place to invest in West Africa. But our story is not just one of West Africa. It's one of spearheading the African story. And I believe that despite many covenants that have been signed, many regional blocks within the continent, the AFCFTA gives us a commonality of a regional market that is tariff-free and opens an immense opportunity for Ghana and their partners to take advantage of for economic growth. Indeed, the issue of regional integration is not a novel idea. And since independence and in the 1960s, when Kwame Nkrumah led Ghana into independence, the issue of regionalizing and African unity has been very well emphasized. And if you go back into history, we talk of the Casablanca and the Monrovia bloc and the leadership of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and Nnamdi Azikiwe. Since then, we have worked together as countries in the continent to come about the African Continental Free Trade Area, which will be the largest tariff-free trade bloc since the WTO. And it's instructive that more recently, the head of the WTO recently voted is an African woman. That gives us a lot of, should I say, inspiration to now partner for progress. And I believe that Ghana is indeed spearheading the issue of partnering for progress in Africa. As I did say, the WTO, the AFCFTA is the largest trade bloc in the world now, and is expected to connect a total of about 1.3 billion people across 55 countries, with a combined GDP of about 3.4 to 3.5 trillion. That definitely is a very important market. And I keep saying that by 2050, Africa will be the largest population, will have the largest population in the world as a bloc. It will be bigger than India, it will be bigger than China, and it will be 1/4 of the world's population. That means that it makes a lot of sense for now to look for partnerships in Africa to participate in that market that is going to be created. Any country that wants to be global needs to be in Africa. First of all, 1/4 of the world's population means to have a population in excess of 2.5 billion people, and with a potential GDP of 7 trillion and above. and so that in itself is very important for a global market. But beyond that, Africa still has over 50% of the, over 30% of the world's mineral resources and raw materials, including gold, oil, bauxite, lithium, which is a critical element for the global economy in the future, iron ore, copper, and many other raw materials that are going to be required, especially post-COVID, to reset the global economy. So Africa in itself is a very important resource provider, which creates opportunity for its people and opportunity for investors. Secondly, Africa still has 60% of the remaining arable land left in the world for cultivation. So the possibility of Africa feeding the world is very real, despite Africa being seen in a way that seems to create the impression that it's not a place to do business. It is really the place to do business. Beyond that, it's got 25% of the world's remaining forests, so it's also a very good environmental sink for the rest of the world. So the continent, no doubt, presents a very important partnership for development of the global economy. And I think there's no better time for us to look at Africa than now. And indeed, despite CFTA, we do see quite a number of countries looking at bilaterals within the African continent as a way to plug in before the pricing gets too high. And so it's very important. But the real opportunities lie in the fact that the EU's aim to pursue a long-term relationship with Ghana and promote its role as a beacon of stability in Africa is also very important, because not that just that Ghana has the opportunities, and Ghana is also minerals rich, resource rich. We have gold, we have oil, we have bauxite, we have iron ore, we have lithium, we have diamonds, we have timber, and we have the people, relatively much more competitive than many other places in the continent. And it's important that the fact of Ghana being a beacon of stability in the West African region be emphasized, because stability creates a very important foundations for investment. Investors want to know that they are in a stable environment where they can make their money and repatriate their money and grow. And as the African market grows and the opportunities grow, it's important to have an anchor. And that strong anchor, I believe, is Ghana. And therefore, it's important that a strong partnership is formed with Ghana. And we've seen the EU play very important roles in its relationship with Ghana to improve public sector management, improve the rule of law and accountability, and increase the ability of public civil society organizations and the media to hold the government to account. Not just that, but we also expect a reciprocal with the EU in some of these things, in such that we expect that a lot of the relationships will be on mutual respect. I need to emphasize some of the areas in which we've done some interesting partnerships. The 11th EDF National Indicating Program allocated 325 million euros to Ghana in the 2014 to 2020 funding period. That shows how well entrenched that the EU has been in our developmental agenda. And the three focal areas were governance, public sector management, and accountability, where they provided 75 million, productive investment for agriculture in the savannah ecological zones, 160 million, as well as employment and social protection of about 75 million. Indeed, even at GIPC, we've had a small partnership with the EU where they funded certain agricultural value chains marketing to enable us attract investment into those areas. But if you look on a regional scale, the EU provided about 20, or will contribute about 25 million euros to enhance the socioeconomic and environmental sustainability of cocoa production in Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, and Cameroon, to ensure that the farmers get a decent living income. So we've had quite a number of these partnerships. And now I believe that the partnership for real business commences. And there are quite a number of initiatives that Ghana has. Ghana's strategic priorities still remain as industry and manufacturing, energy, agriculture and agro-processing, hospitality, technology, health, education, and those are the main priorities that we have. And we have engaged with some Spanish businesses in ensuring that we open up those opportunities to mutual benefit. I remember in October last year, where Celestino Alvarez Neira, the chairman of the European Business Organization, opined and opinionated that Spanish investors and the wider European business community have actually affirmed their readiness to contribute significantly to the Ghana's industrialization and development cause. For us, under Ghana Beyond Aid, we are very clear that we are looking for sustainable partnerships and linkages, and not just handouts and aid to develop, because we believe that there's much more sustainability when we have constructive and mutually beneficial partnerships and linkages than just accepting aid and handouts from developed countries. But if you look from 1994 to 2020, the GIPC has registered, I think, a total of 59 Spanish projects with a total estimated investment of $225.90 million US. We still emphasize on the fact that we are very clear that we offer mutually beneficial investment relationships, because out of those investment relationships, we'll develop the trade links that we have. Out of the 59 projects registered, the building and construction sector had 17 projects and recorded the highest number of projects that were invested in by Spanish investors. The services and manufacturing registered 14 and 12 projects respectively. But we believe that going forward, there is the opportunity to leverage that into bigger relationships. So how can we build on the Ghana-Spain relationship? Or how can we strengthen it further? My calculations show that barely 0.3% of Spain's gross foreign investment went to Africa last year, and half of that was aimed at South Africa, according to the Economic Ministry figures. But the EU has come up with an investment tool that hopes to direct about 44 billion to Africa, mostly in private funds, over the next few years. I believe that Spain is finalizing a new comprehensive plan for Africa, which I heard about this morning, which seeks to boost Spanish investments on the continent, and not just trade, but investments. Because if, as we speak, we all acknowledge that Africa is potentially the richest continent in the world, endowed with natural resources. But unfortunately, this is a continent that imports more than it exports, once it should be the other way around. And so, under the maximum of a Ghana Beyond Aid, which now probably has translated to Africa Beyond Aid, we are going to change a lot of aid to trade. And that trade would be pushed by investment, because that is where we feel that we would most likely get the most benefit and the mutual benefit out of it. And the Ghana Beyond Aid initiative includes a number of policies, such as the One Village, One Dam, the One District, One Factory policy, and the Planting for Food and Jobs. And these can be taken up by Spain as a challenge of pushing their business communities to invest in Ghana. Indeed, under the European Partnership Agreement, our proposition is that we want to attract European manufacturers to actually come locate in Ghana to be able to manufacture for the African market. And I believe that that will offer them a tax-free opportunity to enter into the African market in a much more beneficial pathway. Additionally, I would say that the Spain-Ghana Chamber of Commerce, SGCC, which is a private association and seeks to promote and increase bilateral relations between Spain and Ghana, offers a wide range of services to support companies in both markets and should be used more actively. The main objective of this association, as I understand, is to promote relationships between Ghana and Spain and increase Spanish presence in Ghana, both economic and socially. And I'm happy to say that whilst I was in university, we had a very beneficial exchange program where students who were learning Spanish at the university actually did a year abroad in Spain. And they are probably the best ambassadors of Spain to Ghana. And we should look for these people and use them as agents of bridging the divide that we have. I believe that both Ghana and Spain need to support the initiatives that the SGCC has put in place and encourage the activities of the SGCC in promoting both business in both markets. I will just highlight a few opportunities which I think we should discuss for the benefit of our Spanish listeners, such that they can actually look at them strategically. And the first place I'll go to is agriculture, because the AFCFTA will create a market to feed the people. Africa's annual food import bill is about $55 billion and is estimated to grow to $100 billion annually by 2025. By this, Spain investing in Ghana is likely to cut down the importation of food and will give them access to the largest market in the world through the CFTA, with a combined population of over 1.3 billion to provide for. And that time is about now. And so that is an opportunity that Spain needs to look for. Secondly, the AFCFTA will create the largest free trade zone by number of companies. And with Ghana's existing favorable investment, should I say, foundations and platforms, with having an open economy, good infrastructure, or relatively good infrastructure, and supportive business environments, Spain could quickly ramp up its intracontinental exports by using Ghana as a spearhead. And I did hear that Ghana was one of the countries that had been pointed at by Spain as a possible partner in actually looking at it. I think that trade is good, but investment is better because it gives you a stronger foothold in the country and in the continent. Now, the second opportunity I want to just highlight is in manufacturing, the manufacturing space. And currently, manufacturing GDP in Africa is only 10% of the GDP in Africa. But with the companies so well resourced in raw materials and resources, it means that the potential of ramping up is very huge. Currently, that production capacity is being compensated through imports. But I feel that there's better value along the value chain that can be derived by manufacturing. And this manufacturing deficit needs to be enabled and emphasized by the AFCFTA because the market is there. China grew to be a great manufacturing continent because it had the population, it had the market. Africa has a similar market, which is even going to grow faster than China. And it's my singular belief, and perhaps the belief of many policymakers, that multinationals, especially Spanish companies, will benefit most from building their businesses across Africa to support the intra-Africa trade through manufacturing. And therefore, governments should seek policies and regulations to bolster their economic relations with their nearest neighbors, as well as courting FDI across the continent. Across the investment community, mostly Asia, Europe, and the US. And Africa, and specifically Ghana, will provide a safe landing home for Spanish business people. And then maybe I'll just speak about two more and then hand over. I think that I've just talked about manufacturing, but the real beauty of the manufacturing sector is in the value addition. If you look at business-to-business spending in manufacturing in Africa, it's expected to reach 670 billion by 2030. That means that there's a potential for Ghana and Spain setting up manufacturing or value addition firms to be extremely profitable if it's projected that the African manufacturing output by 2025 will be in excess of 1 trillion if all 55 countries join AFCFTA. I mean, Ghana has already a 10-point industrial plan where we are setting up special economic zones in a number of areas: the automotive sector, the oil and gas sector, the pharmaceutical sector, the tourism and hospitality sector, which I know Spain has a lot of, should I say, expertise that we can learn from, and a number of others, plastics and all that. And I think these are opportunities that you should take advantage of from Spain. But by 2032, despite COVID being there, this estimated that consumer spending on tourism and the hospitality sector and the recreation in Africa is projected to reach some 260 plus billion. And therefore, this is the time for Ghana to court Spanish investment in the tourism and hospitality sector. And I believe that collaboration will meet the needs the needs that may arise in the coming years in the sector through opportunities that the AFCFTA offers. So despite the fact that we are well positioned, and Ghana is probably the most politically stable country in Africa and has the most aggressive business reform program to make the business sector thrive and to create the best business environment or experience in Africa, I think Ghana has made a clear decision that we will partner with those who are very keen to see and take advantage of the opportunities. And we will create the space for that to happen based on a certain mutuality. And I do concede that COVID-19 has really come to disrupt quite a lot of the things that we do, but we have positioned ourselves in readiness for the future. The Tama port is currently the largest port in Africa with a potential of 3.7 million TEUs to facilitate the logistics business across the continent. And so we'll be very happy to embrace stronger and more constructive engagements to make sure that Spanish businesses can take advantage of what we have right now. I do say that COVID-19 has led to economic uncertainty, but it also gives us the time and the space to plan and plan better and to ensure that we partner together for mutual benefit. I think the time is past where a lot of the trade and the business was one direction. I think now is the time to both look at the opportunity that it offers and the ability to execute in those opportunities. And with a lot of reforms taking place currently, I believe that the African story and the Ghana story can only get stronger and better. In today's world, out of the 10 fastest growing economies, 7 are from Africa. You cannot be a serious trading and investment country and not be in Africa, because this is where the opportunity is. And this is where the opportunity is going to be in the next 30 years. The demography of Africa indicates that out of the 2.5 billion people that we'll see in 2050, over 60% of that population is less than the age of 35 years old. That is an opportunity and a market just waiting to happen. And I believe that the time to look at it is now. And so I am delighted to be speaking to you, and I'm open for any questions. I believe that we are ready in Ghana, and we'll look forward to constructive engagements to ensure that we have a mutual beneficial relationship. So thank you very much for giving me the space to talk.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jafir, for sharing all this valuable information with us. Remember that the chat is open for comments and questions. Now is the moment to introduce Mr. Lander Jimenez. He is representing the Africa Basque Challenge Mondragon Group, and he will be sharing with us key information of this group. Please, Mr. Lander.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the invitation to be here. And first of all, apologies that I'm having to wear this mask. I wish I could show you the big ear-to-ear smile that I have for being able to be in this forum with such excellent people and excellent speakers. However, I am in a public space. This is an innovation lab where we mix team entrepreneurship clusters and companies. and we believe in trying to change the world through the companies we create, on bringing positive impact. And this is the small story that I'm bringing today here to this meeting, which I'm honored to be here with you today and to be able to share this time and space with yourselves. I'm saying it's a small story because it grows from the belief that that if we can all co-create a different environment, starting with a local impact, if we believe in diversity, then we can create companies that can have a positive impact. And why not create companies between people from the global north and the global south? It also stems from the fact that we had been doing that amongst friends that had worked in Kenya and in different parts of Africa. And we have been doing it for many years, and we believe, why not be able to create an environment where young people can also create these themselves, and these relationships can be co-created together. With the belief of Chimamanda's breaking the single story, we are aware that there are many talented people everywhere, but the opportunities are not as equally distributed. So we thought that if we could create an environment where people from the north and from the south can co-create companies, they can co-create a new future. And that's when we launched, with the support of the decentralized regional cooperation, a project called Africa Basque Challenge, which I'm going to try to share a screen, and hopefully I can share a presentation of where we are now. This started some years ago, and as I said, the belief was that young people will be able to create companies if we give them the access to the latest teampreneurship methodologies. And I stress the word team because this is not about lone entrepreneurship, but about creating intercultural teams, so that with a common project and a common purpose, we can create teams that carry on relating with each other. Currently, we are running this started between the region of the Basque Country and Kenya, and is now had several editions, and this is the one that we're opening now for 2021. So if I can move to the next, this is what we do. We create impact entrepreneurship. Our horizontal, if you wish, or what guides us and what drives us is Agenda 2030 and the SDGs. And from the SDGs, we develop the challenge that each of the teams wants to resolve. In the past, the verticals and the specific ideas to work within the SDGs have been developed amongst the teams from both Kenya and Senegal, and we try to develop ideas that are both an issue both in Kenya and Senegal, as well as in our region. That being, for example, the large gap between the rural and urban development. So with this in mind, we set up what started as a challenge of different people submitting projects, and we now created a community. The challenge is a 40-4-4 idea. Why 40-4-4 idea? Because it's 40 people, 20 from the global north and 20 from the global south, coming together into boot camps, very rapid and agile methodologies of entrepreneurship and lean startup being developed in those boot camps. The first one in in the receiving country in Africa, and the second bootcamp in the region, in this case, in the Basque region. So 40 participants, 4 months period. So first bootcamp, then 3 months working at a distance, remote working, and second bootcamp, where we now go to present our projects turned into businesses to potential investors. And 4 winners. So 40, 4 months, 4 winners. 4 winners that manage to go through the process of acceleration and incubation with an organization, an international organization called Bridge for Billions, part of the Ashoka network. Ashoka, as you know, is a social entrepreneurship global international network. And Bridge for Billions has over 200 international mentors to support over 3 months this acceleration and incubation process, okay? So by doing this, we realize that more than a simple competition, we have grown the methodology that we use in Mondragon Team Academy, which is based on the Finnish methodologies and the latest methodologies for high performance teams and team entrepreneurship, into a specific methodology for diversity for equality, if you wish. We believe that through this intercultural diversity, we make these methodologies available to everyone, available so that we bring these opportunities equally to everyone, both in the African countries where we work and in the region where we work in the north, because these methodologies are only based on some universities with that need to be paid. So through this intercultural diversity, we believe we're making this accessible to more people and we bring more equity. Yeah? So we continue developing these methodologies based on the intercultural intelligence and intercultural diversity. We realize that it's not just a competition, we realize that this is a community, and that community works together in a digital co-working space that we created in a digital platform, so that we can interconnect with other communities, such as I mentioned, Ashoka before, the Social Global Network, or Impact Hub, who we're working with in Dakar, but Impact Hub is a network all over the world, Acumen, and other impact economy organizations. So our youth can be nurtured to have a positive impact globally, regardless of where we're born. And this is the key connection that we generate. As I mentioned before, why do we do this? What is our purpose, our common purpose? We co-create impact entrepreneurship to fight the inequality. Through this competition, we create companies, and these companies change the environment and change the places. They are global change maker agents. Yeah. As I mentioned before, the previous editions were in Kenya and in Senegal. And in between these editions and this one that we're opening, we're now also working between the Canary Islands and Senegal with the Africa Canary Islands Challenge. We explain why Senegal, Gandiol Dakar, why Kenya, and why specifically the Basque country, this region of Spain. And in the latest edition, we're also working with the Pays Basque, or the Basque country region of the south of France, who are also involved. The methodology is all about personal development from a purpose and an agent of change. These are team development being the great power to create that change. That way, culture must be something that unites and not divides. Therefore, the whole concept of Basqueness is a very open concept of anybody who would like to take part from the global north. And the only conditions that are given to the companies that are set up is that the teams need to be intercultural, so that we use the power of diversity, and that the companies must be set up either in Kenya or in Senegal, or in the region that is currently funding the organization. In the case of the Canary Islands, and in the case of the Basque Country, the Basque Country. Either on each of them, or one of them, or both. Yeah. So the key capacity buildings that we work on is we come as individuals, we do introspective work, and we find a common purpose with our team. So we work the individual dimension, the team dimension, the intercultural dimension, and of course, the company dimension, a company based on the impact economy. We form a community, and this year we are going to have 17 participants from the Basque regions of Spain and France, 70 participants from Kenya, and 6 participants from Senegal, so we can try to triangulate the whole thing. And the beauty of this is that, as I said before, that this is about co-creating. So we co-create with a whole lot of organizations from both Senegal and Kenya, and a whole lot of support from different organizations, and always open to more collaborations and more organizations. Yeah. In this, we use the cooperative narrative. We use the cooperative organizations that we come from. We come from an organization, the Cooperative Experience of Mondragon, which is the 10th biggest corporation of Spain, and believes that we are a social entrepreneurship project. So for social development linked to an entrepreneurial project. We are one of the biggest industrial cooperative groups in the world. And is this very same thing that has driven the Mondragon Team Academy and the Entrepreneurship University to open up innovation labs in Mexico, in Shanghai, in Pune, in India, in South Korea, in the US, and 5 faculties all across Spain, including Madrid, Barcelona, Valencia, etc. These methodologies, which through the university are only based for paid students, with the Africa Basque Challenge, what we do is we open them up for free with the support of all of these collaborators as a co-creating experience. So we learn by co-creating. As I said, it's only a small activity, but that is changing the minds of so many youth that are the future of our world, and certainly they are key to strengthening the relationships between Africa and Spain. Specifically, I think it's important to mention projects from the first edition that have gone through now, like Renman, that are producing a cassava product. They managed to raise over 100,000 and had the support of investors for over $100,000 to create the prototype machinery that will do this produce, and are now in the process of raising another 200,000 because they already have links with and contracts with the farmers and the potential clients that are going to be buying this produce. We also have from this latest edition in Senegal cheese being sold in Europe, and this cheese being sold is cheese without milk, produced from nuts, and it's also have a very great potential for scaling as a project to be selling all over Europe and to creating great impact in Senegal. These young teams, as soon as they start co-working in this digital community, they start creating even more activities beyond the first edition, because we realize that we all are an impact community and intercultural teams of impact entrepreneurship. And with this, let me thank you all for giving me this space and for allowing that we try to co-create this in more spaces. We are certainly for next year, we're currently talking to Ghana startups, and certainly Ghana is in our radar, and would love for all of your support to be able to make this even greater.
Thank you very much, Lander, sharing with us this interesting initiative. Finally, we would like to invite Mrs. Carmen Gilabert, Communication Manager at the Scientific Park of Madrid, and Mr. Cesar Martinez, CEO of the Enterprise Smart Apps. They will make some comments and open the debate and discussion. Please, Carmen. Your microphone, please. We are not hearing you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now
yes. Well, first of all, I just wanted to thank you. I'm really honored to be able to participate in the conference. And I want to thank Professor Mella and also Esther Alarcón for all the support they have provided. So, well, I just wanted to go briefly and, okay, I would like to be keen and, wait a second, hold on, yes. Well, very briefly, I just wanted to present you the Madrid Science Park. We are a science park based in the Canto Blanco campus, and we are actually promoted by the Universidad Autónoma de Madrid University, who is also in charge of this Amenet conference, and also promoted by the Universidad Complutense de Madrid. And we count with the support of the National Research Council and the Research Center for Energy, Environment and Technology, and also with the support of the Madrid City Council. So right now, our president is the rector of the UCM University. And as you can see, we are a non-profit foundation created in 2001. So we are a mix collaboration of private and public entities and institutions. Our basic mission, is to promote R&D and transfer innovative knowledge generated in universities and public research institutions to society through the creation of competitive products and services. So at present, we have around 90 associated businesses from different sectors, and in the building we run in the Canto Blanco campus, we have around 750 people working there in this competitive businesses. Our basic mission, as you can see, is to support innovative businesses, and we host innovative companies from the science and technology sectors for around 5 years. Our mission is to help them develop their products and services so that they can be ready and in time to get into the market and be able to sell their products or services successfully. We basically host SMEs and spin-offs and startups. And the admission requirements we have established are, well, first of all, to develop an innovative activity, to have highly qualified staff, to be environmentally friendly, and to be registered as a business. The main sectors of activity are life sciences and chemistry, environment and renewable energies, nanotechnology, new materials and engineering. And also we have quite a few businesses from the ICT sector. The interesting thing or the interesting objective and the way in which we help businesses is that we provide infrastructures and also a wide array of professional services. So as you can see, our building is open every single day in the year, and we offer meeting rooms, conference hall, rest areas, parking, dining room, everything, and especially pre-equipped laboratories for the science, life science companies, and co-working spaces. And this is just a summary of the professional services we provide: access to finance, personnel under training, technology watch and transfer, marketing and communications, which is my field of activity, knowledge management, legal and fiscal assessment, and also international services with the help of the Enterprise Europe Network, which is the largest network helping SMEs with international ambitions promoted by the European Commission, more specifically supported by EASME. This is just to show you the figures and the impact we have. Right now, the occupation rate is around 90 tenant companies. So, well, you can see that in the around 8,400, 500 square meters we have in the building. These companies have made an expense in R&D of around 17 million euros, and more than over 300 incubated businesses have been hosted in our premises. So something to highlight is the fact that most of the businesses we host deal with ICT and life sciences and chemistry sectors, as you can see in this slide. Most of the companies we host are still in development and have less than 3 years. In terms of education and training, it is worth mentioning the fact of having 48% of women hired by these companies. Also the figures of direct employment, and the fact of having really qualified personnel working for these innovative companies. It is also worth mentioning the fact that, as you can see in this slide, the UAM University is very entrepreneurial, and also well, there is spin-offs are occupy around 37% in this of the businesses hosted in the building, and the other 63% belongs to the private sector. Well, just to conclude, also, I would like to mention that we have R&D services, and we offer scientific genomic services to research groups, hospitals, companies, and public and private laboratories. And as I mentioned before, since 2008, we are a partner of the Enterprise Europe Network, the largest network helping SMEs with international ambitions. The Enterprise Europe Network is present in Africa, specifically in Cameroon, if I am not wrong. And well, this is, I guess, that really interesting because one of the objectives of the Enterprise Europe Network is to foster competitive businesses, also because figures show that quality employment is mainly promoted by this kind of businesses. So the network was basically set up in Europe, and after a while the Commission realized that, of course, it was, as we live in a global world, we should also collaborate with other partners and countries from all over the world. We are also a partner institution of the ESABIC, and at present we incubate as well 5 companies from this program who use spatial technologies and innovations. And this is just a very, very short summary of what we do in the Madrid Science Park. I would like to follow you to follow our social media and website, and I remain at your disposal for what you may need. And thank you again for inviting me to this interesting conference.
Thank you very much, Carmen. Please, Cesar. We are ready.
Morning, everyone. Good morning. Congratulations to the organizers for the project and this conference. It's an honor for me to share my time with this panel of high-level authorities and experts. And thanks for the opportunity to present a couple of entrepreneur initiative. The first thing I did when I was invited was I went through the agenda and I found a lot of interesting topics that most of them has been already mentioned by the previous speakers. I'm talking about agriculture, I'm talking about climate change, environment, mobility, water transport, ICT, ports. So we can see in the next presentations that most of these topics are connected with the potential application of our initiatives. So let's go through the very, very short presentation. The first startups is Smart Hubs, and it is focused in the development of stratospheric platforms. We identify a market opportunity due to the increasing demand in remote sensing information, because potential users need to track a very high dynamic process, and they also need real-time information, and they have to detect small size changes, particularly those related with environmental pollution. What we propose to solve these problems is the use of stratospheric vehicles. In fact, they are airships operating for an altitude around 20 kilometers. From this altitude, they can provide continuous operation over an area of interest. These kind of vehicles are powered by electrical energy. They have electrical engines and are powered by solar energy. The idea is to operate the vehicle over an area, and we can recover the vehicle after the operation time, typically 4 or 5 months, for maintenance and upgrades operations. with this kind of vehicles, we can provide complementary services to satellites. Regarding applications, there's a lot of them, but we can find here those related with environmental application, agriculture, a group of applications related with mobility and location-based services. The third group is related with security and defense, particular for maritime search and rescue. The management of disaster issues, and finally those related with communications, particular internet or secure communications. So that is the idea of the first company, and let me go quickly with the second one. In that case, the company is UTEC, and is a company specialized in the development of unmanned boats. So in that case, the problems to solve for maritime entities, you can find here some of the problems, but let me highlight three of them. The first one is the continuous operation. The second one is the protection of the crews. And the third one is the reduction in the operational cost. It's quite important for the operator. What we provide here is, according with the required unmanned surface vehicle system, the user needs, we select the whole, the boat, and we develop the onboard electronic and software. We also develop the ground controller station. We select the payloads, and we select and integrate the navigation and communication equipment to provide the whole system. Regarding applications, there's a lot of applications also related with the maritime environment, but let me highlight some of them. For example, the maritime surveillance, the activities related with search and rescue, the port applications, and those related with security and defense. According with the application, we have to select the payloads and the instrument that range from camera for night or day illumination, water sensor, crane, winds. It depends on the final application. We can install on the boats the appropriate payloads. As I told you before, the technical name of the system is unmanned surface vehicles. And before ending, let me tell you that both companies were supported by the European Space Agency, and that both companies are located in the Parque Científico de Madrid. So it's an excellent environment to provide support to the startups. And let me tell you also that we are open to collaboration with entities in Ghana or Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cesar. Now is the moment for questions. Unfortunately, Mrs. Maria Paz Ramos Reza, General Director of Trade and Investment of Spain, had to leave the meeting, but she's telling us that she's able to receive questions by email. We had one question for her, but we will send it afterwards. Well, here the chat is open for you to make questions and comments, but I would like to share the first question to Mr. Luis Calaf. Luis Calaf, the question is, in terms of energy transition in the power and mobility sector, are there collaborations, for example, technology transfer between Ghana and the Spanish government? If there are, how could this transcend into more multilateral trade aim other West African nations?
Well, thank you for the question. I think that I'm a representative of the finance people in companies. Perhaps Mr. Alberto Videla has more information to give our attendants better answer. I can give a private view. I don't believe that perhaps doesn't exist many relationships in both market sectors that the person asked, no? But I don't have real information on this on the relationships in these two sectors. Perhaps I don't know, Alberto, if you have, if it's in the meeting has more information. I don't know if you have more information about that, Alberto.
Thank you, Luis. Could you please, maybe our moderator, remind me which are the sectors and in fact the question?
The sectors are power and mobility.
Mobility and what?
Power generation.
Power.
Yes.
So if the question was...
energy transition, yes.
Is there any partnership already in place, any project bilateral? Is it the question? I think the Spanish embassy in Ghana or the Spanish economic bureau of the Spanish embassy, both of them in Accra, are in a much more position to illustrate and answer this question. I'm sure you understand that from headquarters we have to follow as much as we can several countries, but we are not able to be aware of everything that happens in each one of them.
Just a few words. I believe, I'm Luis Calaf again. I believe occasions like this meeting, this conference, could open opportunities in the future. But I'm sure that today doesn't exist many projects in these two sectors. But from the occasion that we have now, today, as an example, we can open talks and investigate possibilities of collaboration, because technologies in these two sectors, Spain has a key position in the world. We have many companies in the top of on the world on these two technologies, also in mobility and also in power. Example of mobility, it's not in the right way, but the last conferences has exposed an example of with manless capacity to make to manage probably capacities of mobilities. So we have the technologies inside Spain to collaborate for Ghana in those two. I'm sure about that.
Thank you very much for your interventions. Here we have other two questions that are for all panelists. The first one is, what are the current opportunities for the Spanish enterprises in Africa? And the second one is, please, could you briefly describe the current local economic environment that Spanish investors may face in Africa? These two questions, who would like to start, please?
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, okay. So I could do a bit of the current opportunities in Africa. And beginning from Ghana, as captured in our presentation, we did state that the agrarian business, that's the agricultural business, and its value chain, it's a big potential for the African continent that feeds into the continental market. So currently, a bigger market has been created and consolidated under one rule of origin, one customs rule that could aid and support any entrepreneur or company that desires to do business in the Africa region, seen as a bigger market. And the same opportunity exists in the energy generation space, that you could look out for the power, you could look out for the petroleum business that's available. You also have infrastructure for bigger companies that have high appetite for big projects in terms of road construction, in terms of rail line development that will integrate the African market for the distribution of their product. Same for the airline and aviation business. A lot of our challenges has to do with communing or transporting our farm products, and as well moving the human capital across the African region. So transportation is big in all spheres. Infrastructure opportunities are there. Major cross-cutting ones are the big infrastructure projects. And when you come down slowly to our various countries, we stated that the industrial development project, i.e. strategic anchor projects that we captured, we have bauxite integrated projects ongoing. We have the iron ore integrated for steel production ongoing. We have other mineral resources that are existing, like gold. And therefore, for bigger companies, there are bigger projects that one could look at that has an integrated flavor that can cut across the continent. However, you could start gradually from one or two countries, and Ghana is a clear case that we have significant infrastructure development that could aid any meaningful business operation. The second question was, what is the business environment? For the business environment, speaking from Ghana, we have demonstrated stability, which is in political stability, which is not in doubt. That is the first stage of the business environment. To what extent an association like that of Association of Ghana Industry does is the advocacy for investment facilitation, and also advocacy for fair competition on the market. And therefore, where an institution like the AGI complements industrial activities and business enterprise desire to come onto the market. So we could hold you hand in hand and engage in advocacy and make sure the right things are done. We have a very solid legal system currently in Ghana. The legal system has a room to intervene in terms of arbitration that goes to complement any industry or any business enterprise desire to come to a market. So those business environment related matters, there are reforms currently ongoing, what we call the business environment reforms that is being conducted by the Ministry of Trade, and the Association of Ghana Industries plays a role in advocating and submitting various concerns to the ministry for the right environment for our businesses. It also has to do with competition, and where we see monopolists and we also see oligopolistic enterprises intervening in the market to distort the market, we engage in advocacy to streamline the general business environment. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your complete response. Is there any other panelist that would like to add something? We are on time with with the program. We have still 10 minutes left. If there is a panelist that would like to add something, or remark, any issue, please, this is the moment to do it.
Okay, Jen, can I add anything?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, bearing in mind that there are here representatives of the private and public sectors, I think it would be interesting to think about organizing in the coming months an encounter, a larger encounter between Ghanaian and Spanish companies in order to look for common project of development in different sectors, whether in different sectors or choosing only one and too deep in it. So I think we thought in Amenet that it would be a good proposal to you to organize these sort of meetings online or in the second half of the year, could be also in a presential way, in order to developing this start point, in order to look for opportunities of investment and the cooperation between our countries, with the support of public authorities and with the protagonism of entrepreneurs of both countries. What do you think? Don't you think that it would be useful to start the organization of such event for the second half of the year or in the coming months? What do you think about that?
Of course, it's a excellent idea. We've listened at the beginning of this panel, the Director General for Trade and Investment of the Spanish Ministry of Trade, and it is true that she reminded us that Ghana is not a priority country for the trade strategy of the Spanish government. It is a priority country for the whole external policy of the Spanish government. So in my intervention, I mentioned Ghana. But regarding, I would say, to be clear, the current financial tools of the Spanish government, they are limited regarding Ghana. It's a question that has to do with debt, external debt, and the conditions so far imposed by the Minister of Finance of Spain. But this is just something to be clear, is not an obstacle for going on regarding this proposal. We have to remind that Ghana is one of the countries where Spain has an embassy, and more than that, has a trade and economic office within the embassy. So I would convey this idea to the Spanish ambassador in Ghana, Ms. Alicia Rico, and I'm sure that she will share with the Spanish Economic and Trade Consulate in Accra. And it will be, I would say, for them together with Ghanaian partners, potential partners, and those like you from Mondragon and other that we have had the pleasure to share this morning of dialogue, to join forces and really continue this talk in order to land concrete proposals and ways of and lines of action. We have to indeed take advantage of this excellent initiative and not forget about what we have been talking about, and instead to really continue to support initiatives and to push economic and trade actors of both countries to go beyond the current stage.
Thank you very much, Ambassador.
That will be great. And just connecting to the reference made to Mondragon, this is something that is a reflection being done between the different cooperatives on the interests and the current collaborations that are being done with different countries of Africa. So I'm sure we will be delighted to be part of those conversations.
Yes, we have here a comment from Jose Miguel Saldo. Dear Professor Mella, your proposal is excellent, but it's better to bring selected projects from Ghana and meet in Spain only with the implicated sectors. It will be a pleasure to help with my experience as president of Spain Morocco Committee for more than 20 years. This is Jose Miguel Saldo. This is the comment in the chat. Is there any other comment or question?
I would propose, as a follow-up of today's and tomorrow's conversations, that from the Spanish embassy in Accra, keep in touch with Professor Mella and his colleagues. And one of the things that they could go together hand by hand is to share the contact of all the participants in these two sessions as people who propose the step forward, maybe a new meeting as proposed by Lander, or adapt the specific interests of each partner and design and a way forward regarding each possible approach.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. I think it's a good thing. We can keep in touch. What we can do is to share our emails in order to propose you some initiative, some ideas about this initiative, and go ahead. I think I'm convinced that this is a positive proposal, and we are aware of the opportunities, and I think it would be great to step forward in order to organize a good entrepreneurial with the support of the public sector here in Spain, in Ghana, and also in the Spanish embassy in Ghana, in order to organize this meeting. This meeting is an encounter, mainly is an encounter among entrepreneurs. Yes, I think, and we have the opportunity to have here Mr. Luis Calaf from ACET. ACET could be a great support to this sort of meeting, because they are specialized in funding the ways of financing these sort of projects. So we can invite a specialized organization of the Spanish administration, and also from the Ghanaian side, they can contribute to this target. So keep being in touch and developing these initial ideas, and I'm sure that it would be a success in the coming months.
Yes, Professor, we will be in this proposal and open to start talks with Ghana representatives that we have also here, no, in this conference. So all completely open to bring and to be the bridge between private companies in Spain to see opportunities, real opportunities in Ghana, that the environment that we have in Ghana, it's a real good opportunity, because it's also an anchor for the area, and the stability of Ghana is a very, very positive point of view for Spanish companies. So open to continue the start that we have now from this conference.
Thank you very much.
We have comments in our chat here. We have euroafrica.net is explaining that they consider that the MEIA proposal is very interesting, and the Foundation Euro-Africa is open to collaborate with this initiative. We have another message here from Carmen Hilabert, Scientific Park of Madrid. She says that they usually organize B2B sessions and company missions with network partners. They can contact the Madrid agency in case they can be of any help. From our experience in the University of Canary Island, these workshops between enterprise is very rich, so they can identify mutual opportunities and synergies, but not only the identification of business and collaboration, but also to accompany these firms in the avenue of investment in the other country is important. Well, we are on time according to the program. If there are not more comments, we can finalize this morning session and take a lunch break. The next slot is planned for the keynote presentations. This is in more or less 1 hour at 1 p.m. Accra local time. Thank you very much to all participants, and see you very soon. Thank you. Have a nice lunch.
Thank you to you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.